Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today you join me again behind the controls of the Aerosoft Twin Otter, and we are currently in the south of England. We're going to be flying today from Land's End Airport on the southwest tip of the UK to the Isles of, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry UK friends, the Isles of Scilly, I believe. Scilly, not Sicily, Scilly. I think it's Scilly. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably still wrong. To St. Mary's Airport. It's about a 20-25-ish minute flight. We're going to go ahead and load up the Twin Otter, get aboard, and get underway here. Alright, and with our passengers now loaded aboard, we're going to go ahead and shut our door as well. And we'll take off that gust lock and start powering up the aircraft here. So it's been a little while since I've flown the Twin Otter, but I think I remember it enough to get around where I need to. Make sure those are in the correct condition, and I want my anti-collision position, no smoking, and fasten seatbelts. Lights on, please. We'll turn off that overhead for the pilot, or for the co-pilot. I don't think he's going to need that. And we should be clear to start. Go ahead and check our fuel quantities. Looks like we're empty in the external tanks, or the outer tanks, which is fine. We've got fuel in the center. I will utilize those. So we'll do forward and aft boost pumps. Get our GPSs spinning up as well, so they can go ahead and acquire a signal. And then we will go for an engine start. Well, you really do forget how loud the old Twin Otter is sometimes, I tell you. Very, very, very loud airplane to start with. Okay, there's engine one. Now spinning up. ITT is pulling. And we're now in the green for our engine one. Prop will do its thing as it comes up later. Let's get generator power on our left-hand engine. Do a quick reset, as well as bleeder for the left engine. And we'll repeat the process for engine number one. I'm not going to do a full flight today. It's a relatively short flight like I mentioned before, but I will walk through the startup process in the meantime. Lights back on, and we'll come back up to our overhead panel. Right generator, quick reset, and right leader on. Emergency lights are armed. We're going to leave the cabin lights off because they're just obnoxiously bright, even in the dim condition. So we'll leave those. I do not need my, let's do reading lights for the folks in the back. And I'm going to turn down our cabin lighting just a little bit, because it is still light out. And I think that's about it. We'll go 10 degrees of flaps for our takeoff. Our yoke back. And we'll do a quick controls check to make sure we are free and correct. Looks good to me. So we'll rack off the park brake here, turn on our taxi light, and we're already rolling. The good old Twin Otter, hard right turn crank out here, and we'll figure out what we're going to do as far as our taxi. I'll catch back up with you guys once we're on the active and ready to rocket ship out of here. Alright, getting turned out on one of the actives. This is probably the best runway for prevailing wind, but it is a little bit short for our aircraft. We probably could do it, but I'm going to digress to the longer runway in terms of a more favorable runway weather-wise. That's my mouse hitting the ground. I'll have to grab that before we start out here. We'll do a nice big hearty turnaround in the old Twin Otter before we get to the end of the runway there. Alright, coming up to runway 16 now. Go ahead and get the aircraft spun around. We'll set a transponder accordingly. It's one thing I really, really love about this airplane is it's just insanely tight turning radius. One thing I don't like is flight sims freezing for apparently no reason. You can go from buttery smooth frames to just a solid standstill for seemingly no reason. Alright, let's go flight mode on the altimeter. We'll leave the vent fan running for now. The yaw dampener can come online, and I'm going to inhibit our GPWS. Let's go flying in the Twin Otter. Good amount of right rudder in, counteracting that crosswind just a little bit. Keep her true down the runway. There's a good rotation speed and little crest in the runway. Now airborne. And we'll start coming out to the right. For those of you unfamiliar with this library and the route we're flying today, this is a real-world route flown by a real-world Twin Otter that I believe has this registration Golf India Sierra Golf. I botched that. Golf India Sierra Golf. I would assume they would just do India Sierra Golf. I could be mistaken. All clear of our first stage flaps. Let's go nav hold. Bring the engines back just a little bit. I'm going to shut off that vent fan because we've got some airflow now over the wings. Or over the wings. Going through the system, I should say. And we'll set up for a 500 foot per minute climb. Wow, that sun's bright. No visors to speak of in the Twin Otter as of yet, so we're just going to have to deal with that real bright sun. We're well clear of the runway here, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off our landing lights and our taxi light as well. And now we're just clean cruising, departing the English coast. And we'll maintain this heading until we make it to St. Mary's. I'll catch up with you guys then. Alright, just there in the distance is the island, or isles rather, pardon me, I'm American, of Scilly. Set just off of the English coast. Looks like there's a little cruise ship there as well. I don't know if they get cruise traffic in the real world, but in flight sim they do. So we're going to go ahead and turn the fasten seatbelt sign back on. Never turned it off in the first place, never mind. And we'll go ahead and start our descent here. We're going to select 2,500 feet, and we will accomplish that at a vertical speed of minus 500 feet per minute. Roll back on the power ever so slightly. And just because we'll throw on the landing and taxi lights and wing lights for added visibility. Looks like I can see the airport there in the distance. We'll go ahead and grab a weather check to see what prevailing winds are. We'll do an overflight of the field as well. I'm not sure if that's something they actually do. In fact, I doubt it is over in the UK, but I want this video to be not quite as short as it's more than likely going to be. Increase our vertical speed a little bit to 1,000 feet. We'll check the weather and be landing very shortly, hopefully. So a quick update for you guys. I actually can't seem to find any automated weather information for this airport. So we are going to do our standard overflight. I'm going to turn off our autopilot and our flight director. And we're just going to do a manual overflight of the field, see if we can get a visual on a windsock. And hopefully we can, and if we can, we'll see where the winds are prevailing from. Otherwise, think we'll elect, what is that, runway 27 down there? I think we'll elect for runway 27. Come out to the right just a little bit. I'm not seeing any windsock down there. Oh, there's a windsock. So it looks like wind's prevailing from the west, sort of. Well, no, I'm sorry, from the south. So we'll do a circle to land here. Add some power back in as the aircraft slows and we add flaps. So one thing I think I would like to do away with is the GPWS callouts in this airplane. I don't think it's realistic to the Twin Otter. I'm sure there are Twin Otters that have it out there, but I'm sure there's plenty that don't. And I would like to be one of the ones that don't. And we're frozen again. How about that, flight sim? Some nose down action going. We're gonna really come in here as slow as we can. As slow as we safely can, I should say. And we'll just do a double check of that windsock once it renders in. Flight sim, work with me, please. There it is, and wind has already shifted, it would appear. But we're just going to go ahead and commit on runway 14. A little bit of a rough touch, very rough touch actually. Into beta. Landing lights can come off, flaps can come up. We actually landed into a perfect crosswind. Had I done runway 27, it would have been a headwind, but nonetheless, we'll take what we can get. And we're going to taxi into parking 4 today. Definitely not the smoothest landing. We set up and executed relatively quickly, so all things considered, I think we did alright. And parking 4. Pad is clear. Real tight maneuvering in here. I don't know how real pilots do this. There's 3 4s just beyond there, so we're going to meander on over to 4. Go ahead and shut those guys off as we don't need them anymore. Tip clearance is good. And we'll come us to a stop inside of the little circle here. How are we looking? A little bit kittywampus. Let's go hard over. Maybe let's not. Come on. Give me some power. Give me some power. There you go, Twin Otter. Oh, we'll go hard over. Get us a little bit closer inside of the circle. Like so. Brakes there. Taxi light can come off. Transponder can go to... we'll just turn it off, actually. Why not? We'll leave the cockpit lighting as it is. I'm guessing the next folks after us are going to need it. Our fasten seatbelts and devices can come off. Flight compartment can come off. We are now going to turn on that cabin light so folks can see their belongings as they're gathering them. And I think that should be about it. So we're going to go ahead and shut down here, shut off the yaw dampener. FDR can come off as we're now safely parked. Props can come back to feather. And engines to cut. We'll shut off those bright overheads. Everyone should have gotten what they needed now. Leads off, Jenny's off. We'll leave our position lights in place. Everything else, I believe, can stay as it is. And then we'll shut down our master and battery switches. And that is a flight complete. in the Aerosoft Twin Otter out to the Isles of Scilly, I believe. And again, forgive me if my pronunciation is wrong, but a very quick yet fun flight to do in the Twin Otter. So that is going to do it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, take it easy.